This video will take you through 16 browser fingerprints at once. Let you thoroughly understand what browser fingerprints are, how they work, and how to set them up when using fingerprint browsers. What is a browser fingerprint? When you visit some social networking sites, such as Facebook, Instagram, or some e-commerce sites such as Amazon and eBay, these sites will quietly collect various details about your browser, such as your IP address, the operating system you use, such as Windows or Mac OS, screen resolution, and even which fonts you have installed. These seemingly insignificant information, when combined, form a browser fingerprint. This fingerprint is unique in most cases, just like a fingerprint in real life. It allows the website to identify you as a unique visitor. Even if cookies are cleared or privacy mode is being used, the website can still collect it by technical means. Why do websites collect browser fingerprints? The importance of browser fingerprints is that it allows websites to remember who you are. E-commerce websites and social platforms want their users to be real, and they usually don't want to see one person master a large number of accounts. But in reality, especially in business needs, it is often necessary for a team or enterprise to operate multiple accounts. At this time, it is particularly important to understand browser fingerprints. For users who use fingerprint browsers, knowing each browser fingerprint means that they can set the fingerprint of the environment more reasonably and ensure that each account runs safely. Users can use Fingerprint Browser to set different fingerprint information and hide their traces on the internet. 1. IP address. Every time you connect to the internet, your internet service provider ISP will assign an IP address to your internet device, which is similar to a mailing address in real life, ensuring that data is correctly delivered to the designated destination client or server. There are currently two common IP address formats. IPv4. This is a widely used IP address format consisting of 4 groups of 1 to 3 digits, each separated by a dot. The value range of each group of numbers is 0 to 255. For example, a typical IPv4 address might be 192.168.1.1. IPv6. As the number of devices increases, the stock of IPv4 addresses is gradually insufficient to meet the demand, so the IPv6 format was developed. This format uses 8 groups of 4 hexadecimal numbers, each separated by a colon. For example, an IPv6 address might look like this: 2001:0 db 8:85a3:0000:0000:8a2e 0370:7334. As part of the browser fingerprint, the IP address provides a globally unique identifier for the user's device. Websites can use this information to locate users, customize content, and perform security checks, such as identifying abnormal login behavior or preventing fraud. IP addresses can also help websites perform compliance controls, such as some websites prohibiting IP access from certain countries. 2. Geographic location. Through the IP address, the website can understand the user's country, region, city, longitude and latitude, and sometimes even more specific geographic location information such as zip code or community. This information can be used to provide geo-targeted services such as localized content, language preferences, and region-specific advertising or promotions. 3. Time zone and local time. Since the IP address can be used to understand which country and city a website visitor comes from, the time zone of the user's country and the local time can also be calculated. The website can also obtain the user's local time and time zone by running JavaScript code. When a user visits a website, if the time zone information provided is inconsistent with other browser fingerprint information, such as the geographic location inferred from the IP address, the website may detect this inconsistency. This may attract the attention of the website, especially those with anti-fraud systems, which may look for such mismatches as indicators of abnormal behavior. Therefore, when using a fingerprint browser to modify time-related fingerprints, pay attention to matching with the IP address. 4. User agent. User agent is a string sent by a browser to a website. It contains information such as the type of browser you are using, its version, and the operating system. Websites can use the information provided by user agent to provide users with content and features that are compatible with their devices and browsers. For example, a website for mobile users will decide whether to provide a touch-friendly interface based on UA. 5. Browser language. Browser language usually refers to the preferred language selected by the user in the browser settings, which determines the default language version that the user sees when visiting a multilingual website. This information is usually sent to the website server through the accept language header of the HTTP request, which may contain one or more language tags, usually in the order of user preference. Browser language settings can be changed through the browser's window settings, and users can list multiple languages so that the website can choose the most appropriate language from which to display content. 6. Fonts. The font collection installed on each computer may vary depending on the user's personal choices, operating system, installed applications, and other factors. Browsers can list the fonts available on the user's device through JavaScript APIs, such as the font faceset interface. Because the fonts installed by users can be very specific, especially when non-standard or custom fonts are included, this information can be combined with other browser data to form a relatively unique fingerprint. This means that even if two users use the same browser and operating system, their font collections may be different, providing websites with another way to distinguish between different users. 7. Screen resolution. Screen resolution includes not only the actual number of pixels of the physical screen, but also the current view size of the browser window. For example, if the resolution of a display is 1920 x 1080, the visible area of the browser may not occupy the entire screen, and the resolution is only 1920 by 1050. Because the browser also has toolbars, tab bars, etc. Therefore, the physical screen resolution and the visible area size of the browser can also become a browser fingerprint. Because different users use different display devices, when the website combines the screen resolution with other fingerprints, each user's fingerprint will appear more unique. 8. WebGL and WebGPU. Both WebGL and WebGPU are graphics-related APIs that allow web pages to use the device's graphics processing unit GPU to render complex 3D graphics. We can play some cool 3D games on the web, which is the function of these APIs. Websites can use these APIs to obtain users' GPU information and form hardware-related fingerprints, which can be used to track users. 9. Media Device Fingerprint. Media Device Fingerprint is a website using the Media Devices API to collect audio and video hardware information on the user's device, including the device type, tag name, resolution, frequency response, and connection type such as USB or Bluetooth. Because this information is usually relatively stable and users are unlikely to frequently change these hardware, each user's fingerprint will appear very unique. Therefore, it will be used as a browser fingerprint. However, modern browsers usually require user authorization for websites to obtain this information for privacy reasons. 10. Audio context. Audio context is a tool provided by the browser that processes and generates audio, allowing websites to play and modify sounds. The subtle differences in how each device processes sound can be captured through this tool, forming a kind of sound fingerprint. This fingerprint is unique because it reflects the different audio hardware and software settings on each person's computer, so it becomes one of the browser fingerprints. 11. Client recs. When you browse the web, such as reading an article, shopping online, or watching a video, the browser will constantly calculate and recalculate the position of various elements on the page to ensure that the content is displayed correctly. These calculations may vary depending on your device type, browser, screen size, and even the current window size. This seemingly ordinary layout information can actually be used by websites to generate a unique description of the browser, namely the client recs fingerprint. Because each person's device and browser combination is unique, the specific position and size of these elements can statistically help websites identify and distinguish each user. 12. Speech voices. The speech voices fingerprint is based on the speech synthesis options available on your device. These options are provided by your operating system and browser, and may include different languages, accents, and genders. Because each person's computer configuration may be different, These voice options are also different. Websites can obtain this information through the Web Speech API and use it as a means of identification, because it is unlikely that two devices have exactly the same speech synthesis settings. This is like a digitized voice library that reflects the characteristics of the user's device, thus becoming part of the user's unique digital fingerprint. 13. Hardware concurrency. Hardware concurrency refers to the number of processor cores in a computer. It is an indicator of how many computing tasks a device can handle simultaneously. In the browser, this information can be obtained through the JavaScript navigator.hardware concurrency property, which returns an integer representing the number of logical processors on the user's device. 14. Device memory. Websites can detect the memory size of the visitor's device. This is achieved through the JavaScript navigator.deviceMemory API, which can return the approximate memory size of the device, such as multiples of 2, 4, 6, 8. You may wonder, nowadays computer devices are becoming more and more powerful, and the memory has long exceeded 8 gigabytes. Why can the website only detect 8? This is because in order to reduce fingerprint recognition and protect the privacy of device owners with very low or very high memory, the maximum value obtained by this API interface is only 8. 15. Do not track. Do not track is a browser flag set by the user to inform the website that the user does not want to be tracked. Although the original intention of the DNT setting is to enhance user privacy protection, it can also be used as part of the browser fingerprint. Users can enable this option in the browser's privacy settings, so that every time the browser sends a request to the website, a DNT header will be included, and the value is usually 1 to indicate that the user does not want to be tracked. When a website collects a user's browser information, the DNT setting can be used as a feature to distinguish users, because not all users will adjust the setting. Therefore, if most users do not enable DNT, and a user enables it, this information can be combined with other browser fingerprint information, thereby increasing the possibility of identifying the user. 16. Canvas fingerprint. Canvas is an area on a web page that allows programs to draw graphics. Websites can draw complex graphics and text on canvas and then analyze how these contents are displayed on your computer, because each computer displays these graphics and text in slightly different details, such as outlines, shadows, colors, and subtle differences in pixel arrangement. These subtle differences reflect a series of settings and hardware characteristics on your computer, such as screen resolution, fonts used, and graphics processors. Because everyone's computer configuration is unique, this makes the graphics drawn by Canvas a kind of digital fingerprint. Websites can use this fingerprint to identify and track users, even if users change browsers or delete cookies. BitBrowser supports the setting of all 16 fingerprints we talked about. By simulating real device data, each account environment has an independent browser fingerprint. You can purchase a proxy IP server for each environment configuration, and BitBrowser can automatically set the browser's language, geographic location, time zone, and other fingerprints based on the IP address. When using BitBrowser to create a virtual browser environment, the fingerprint is already set by default and no additional settings are required. You only need to fill in the account-related information, and you can batch create multiple independent browser environments in more than 10 seconds. Click the link below the video to register BitBrowser. New users can use 10 window environments for free forever.